music is a reflection of the world we live in. And, you know, we now talk about a multicultural society in the United States. Multicultural in the 1920s probably meant Italian and Irish. Interestingly enough, Cage and Harrison, beginning in the 30s and 40s, were already folding in a very strong Asian influence because that's what they knew, although one didn't define it as multicultural. So in that way, it's a reflection of a complex and evolving society, even before its time. In a way, if you just think about the evolution of what we call Asian food and sort of the 1950s homogenized, slightly Polynesian sense of Asian food with very Americanized Asian foods, and the little pink umbrella in the fruity cocktail. And then you think about the incredible richness of Asian food in a city like San Francisco or Seattle or Los Angeles in particular, with specific regional, very authentic experiences. Music was ahead of this curve in recognizing the ingredients and materials of Asian music and beginning to fold them in. So in that way, it's very directly a reflection of a complex, evolving society, even before society itself makes those acknowledgments on a wide scale. Somebody coming from Asia, dropping out of the blue and hearing a piece of Lou Harrison or a specific piece of John Cage, I think might recognize some vocabulary or some sonorities, but I would not remotely pretend that these are Asian pieces. These are uniquely American pieces and uniquely American voices, reflective of a time and place in America that blends in the influence of Asian musics. There's something to me so fresh and so unafraid of categorization in the music of Cowell and Harrison and Cage, and prior to them, with a New England reference point, Charles Ives, that in the end, it takes these ingredients, but the end result is a uniquely American perspective born of that specific place. We're in a wonderful time right now where the boundaries of music are falling. There's one interesting theory to follow, which is that the beginnings of centuries seem to be times of fermentation and new ideas suddenly brewing. So I think we're right now in one of those wonderful times. And I love the notion of a term that's only come to be used recently, of alternative classical or alt classical or sort of high art pop. We're struggling in finding the right words to describe music, and I find that completely thrilling. And then you look back at somebody like Lou Harrison in particular, but Cage as well. And I would guess that Lou Harrison never said, "I'm a classical musician." Lou Harrison, I think, would say he was a musician, almost in a way like a village musician, the person writing music within a particular setting. And that's now coming around to be embraced more fully. Lou Harrison and Henry Cowell and John Cage were certainly regarded as outliers and mavericks and pioneers in their days. There's now a new generation of composers who simply delight in defying any kind of categorization, and these are the forefathers of what's going on right now. I think they paved the way. It doesn't actually surprise me that Mark Morris is so enamored of this grouping of composers, because Mark, as a pioneer and the free spirit, I think, delights in what they did to open new channels and open new avenues, and he responds accordingly.